Our humble salutations at his lotus feet. Good afternoon to all of you, and welcome to Sarva Dharma Service Center. It's really a great honor to actually celebrate all the religions and invite all of you who have been practicing the faith that you believe in. And then we celebrate here today because we believe in one thing very common, that God does exist. And we believe in God, and our Lord always used to say, there is only one religion, and that's religion of love. And there's only one language, and that's the language of the heart. I think today it's a moment when, as you can see, the center's principles, we have etched pretty much all religious symbols on our walls permanently. Well, they're not all, but majority of them as a sample. But the significance of it is we believe that all religions are one, and we come together in loving God in various forms and various ways, but the pathways all lead to the same destination for all of us. So along the way, we have a tradition of conducting this programming, inviting the esteemed audience like you once a year to have a small musical, and hearing all the different ways people chant, pray, sing, extolling the glory of the Lord in various ways. So I really thank all of you for making your time here today for this afternoon. And I would like to introduce Mr. Arya Gandikota, who will be our MC for this program today. With that, we will begin the program. Thank you.
Welcome, brothers and sisters, to this multi-faith music program in honor of Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba's birthday, which is on November 23rd. And generally, a week or two later, we have this music program. And we're very honored that all of you could join us in celebrating this birthday. So, Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba is a divine being, and he lived from 1926 to 2011. And during that time, he established a multi-faith religious community that has followers throughout the world. So essentially, we think that he is an avatar or a descent of the divine in human form to lead people back to the path. And so he comes to reward the good. And let's say not punish, but to take care of those who are not on the right path, to bring them also back to the right path. And that path is Sathya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, and Ahimsa. Satya means truth. The truth is one. There is only one Lord. Whatever we may think, whatever paths we may follow, there is only one God. There was only one couple, Adam and Eve, as they say in the Bible, or Manu and Shatarupa, as we say in the Hindu or Sanatana Dharma tradition. So that means we come from one family, and why are we divided? We should not be. So when this division comes to a point of crisis, then an avatar descends. So one of the avatars is Rama. One of the avatars was Krishna in different ages as we go. And then now we think that Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba was one such avatar to lead humanity back to the path of righteousness, dharma as we say. So Satya, dharma is righteousness or good conduct. Shanti is peace. Prema is love. Love meaning divine love, irrespective of caste, community, whether you're an animal or a human being, or even the earth. Love for everything. And we think that even inanimate objects are permeated with the love of God. So even this is a representation of God. That's why we say we have these, all of these are representations, even this. So everything has God permeating this. And there's not only this one universe, but there are many, many universes. And all of these are permeated by the Lord. So this building was constructed approximately 3 years ago. As Brother Mahesh pointed out, we have all the religious symbols of the major faiths. There's the Om, the chakra of the Buddhists, the cross of Christianity. Swami said that also represents Judaism, because Jesus was born in the Jewish faith. Okay, so but now for those who live in the West, there's also the Star of David below too. And then there is the star and the crescent of the Muslims, and then the fire of the Zoroastrians. So these are the major ones that we have, and the Om is shared with the Sikhs and other communities in India. So this was built as a service center, not as a temple. A service center meaning that love can only be expressed as service to humanity. So this is a temple of service, so to speak. And then we have, this is the first avatar that came in the 19th century. That's Shirdi Sai Baba. And this is Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, who was for the 20th century. So now we'll begin our program. First up is Manurmukhi. And come on up, Manurmukhi. She's going to have a dance program. So devotion is expressed in many different ways. It can be expressed in poetry, verses from the divine revelations. It can be expressed as art, as all of this. And then Manurmukhi is going to express it as dance. So Manurmukhi, a few words. You want to come here and talk about what you're going to do?
Hello, my name is Manurmukhi, and I'm going to be performing an Indian classical dance called Bharatanatyam, and the song that I'll be dancing to is called Bo Shambho. I'm currently a student of Kalanjali School of Dance under Sudha Devlapalli, who is my dance teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, Manurmukhi.
मामव भवसागर तारका गंगाधर शंकर करुणाकर मामव भवसागर तारका शंभो शिव शंभो स्वयंभो गंगाधर शंकर करुणाकर मामव भवसागर तारका गंगाधर शंकर करुणाकर मामव भवसागर तारका शंभो शिव शंभो स्वयंभो निर्गुण परब्रह्म स्वरूपा गम गम भूत प्रपंच रहित 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 निज गुह निहित नितांत अनंत निज गुह निहित नितांत अनंत आनंद अतिशय अक्षय लिंग आनंद अतिशय अक्षय लिंग आनंद अतिशय अक्षय लिंग आनंद अतिशय अक्षय लिंग शंभो शिव शंभो स्वयंभो गंगाधर शंकर करुणाकर मामव भवसागर तारका शंभो शिव शंभो स्वयंभो धिमित धिमित धिमि धिमि किट किट तोम
तकिट तकिट तोम तकिट तकिट तोम
तोम तोम तरि किट किट तोम
तत तरगड़दोम तक तत तरगड़दोम दा दे तोम तकिट तकरा 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 दे कई तकिट तकरा
धिमित धिमि धिमि किट किट तोम 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 तरि किट तोम मतंग मुनिवर वंदित ईशा सर्व दिगंबर वेष्टित वेश नित्य निरंजन नित्य नटेश ईश सवेश सर्वेश धिमित धिमित धिमि धिमि किट तोम 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 तरि किट तोम मतंग मुनिवर वंदित ईश सर्व दिगंबर वेष्टित वेश नित्य निरंजन नित्य नटेश ईश सवेश सर्वेश शंभो शिव शंभो स्वयंभो गंगाधर शंकर करुणाकर मामव भवसागर तारका शंभो शिव शंभो स्वयंभो
Let's have another round of applause for Manurmukhi. She did this at very short notice and without too much accompaniment, but she did very well. Thank you. So next we have Guru Dilip Ji. Guru Dilip Ji was very kind. He came all the way by bus from Manhattan in this cold. So we thank him for coming. And he's from the World Yoga Community, and which is based in New York, and he's the founder. And he'll give us a short talk on yoga and multi-faith activities at the United Nations. He has an NGO, non-governmental organization, that is represented in the United Nations. So he has some very interesting comments. Please.
Pleasure and honor to be in this center. As a yogi, born in India, end up in America, end up with multi-faith people around the world. I want to thank Harimaji to invite me to this place and in this event, and being with my divine chosen people, sisters and brothers. I born in a family. My father is from an Orthodox Christian. They are the first family converted to Christianity in India from AD 52. My mom is from a Hindu family, follower of Narayana Guru from Kerala. 6 years back they married, both kicked out from the family. Time for the family. And we have 3 children. My parents got my brother and sister. After 10 years, I born. Father became a homeo doctor and a federal government officer in the telephone department, BSNL. Mother became a state teacher in a school. You know, those days salary was very less, not like these days. And there's no support from the family. So they had real struggle. Nobody accommodate them in their premises. That's the way it was. Unwanted family. So my mom became pregnant in December of 1968. So mom had a confusion. Discussed with my father. Father said, no, just abort the child. For a teacher, it's very hard to abort a child. It's against the ethics. So she talked to her cousin, one of the monk from Kerala. He said, no, don't kill the child. Whatever happening. And she heard Sai Baba is coming to her neighbor's house. She went to him and said, no, don't kill the child. He will be a yogi. Here I am. Thank to Baba. After some years, I born. Then after some years, he came to the neighbor's house again. I was very little. I just went to him, sat on his lap. The courage I had from the beginning. So, grew up in a church and a temple. I had a great time with the people. I never think about any religion in my childhood. Parents sent me to different arts, music, dance. I studied all of this stuff. End up in sports and games. 25 years representing school and college, university, and NCC, very active. So we used to have the yoga classes from childhood. 1979, I started teaching my colleagues in my sports team. So one of the religious extremists asked me, oh, you cannot teach yoga because you are not from Hindu family. When I go to church, you cannot do things here, you are from the Hindu family. I said, I will do whatever I want. That's the way it is. So I kept what I want to do. I know my activities are good for people. Studied alternative medicine, became a doctor. I'm not joining in any army or navy, got all the selections, I just get rid of it. I want to keep in the yoga field. But I kept interfaith in all of my events. I brought one bishop, my dad's cousin, to one of the events, asked him to inaugurate the event. So I had a problem with my Christian friends. I said, no, I'll go forward. Start traveling around India, end up in Himalayas, living in caves. Still, I'm not happy living there. I know I cannot sit in one place. I had to move around. Maybe that is my destiny. End up in New York in 99, last 19 years, putting all the interfaith programs every single month in New York City and the UN. The best part was, in my childhood I met one monk called Swami Bua. He was close friend of Baba. And he had a great time with the Shri Baba too. So he helped me to bring yoga to different groups. We handled with the different religious groups. Sent me to 86 countries to meet all the associations to make International Day of Yoga. That became the global movement, and the UN recognized in 2014, and we had the first event at the UN in 2015. In 2017, I was the chair for the panel discussion at the UN. Now end up with the vice president of the wellness group at the UN, Staff Recreation Council. That's the recent one. This is the thing I understood. We all are great beings. We all are chosen, not only one group of people. Baba always says, when you born as a human being, you can go deeper in spirituality and find the enlightenment state. I think that is the best part. Last 7 or 8 years, very active with the Manhattan Center, especially Raj Bhushan, some of you know. He's an attorney, supporting us in different ways. This year I was in Kerala. Then they asked, one of the doctors from the hospital from Puttavarthi asked me to teach a class in Puttavarthi. I said, I have only 2 days. I had to go back to New York, but next visit, yes, I am coming back. So since early 90s, I start going to the Puttaparthi ashram. Just spend time, at least few days in a year. Bring people, yoga people, we have tour, move around from different faith. The life taught me never create an enemy. Easy to destroy relationships, very hard to maintain. We don't need any religion to sustain ourselves. We don't need any boundaries. We don't have to have a attire to I'm a spiritual being. Most of the time, those who are on the Facebook, you see, maybe I'll wear a jubba, maybe I'll wear a suit, even a shorts at the UN. This is the thing I learned. We made the religion because of the culture from different areas. But spiritual beings like us have certain duty, bring all the people from faith and share our knowledge from different faith and find out what is good for human being. Like we have different medical systems. There's a department in India called Ayush department. 10 years back, people don't want to go to a Ayurveda doctor, a homeo doctor, a naturopathic doctor, or a yoga person. Now it's not like this. It's recognized department. They are putting a lot of yoga events. So this is the way we have to bring integration. Bring knowledge from different countries. We may have the brown color, black color, or white color, or yellow color, or different shape in our body. But by birth, We are the small image of God. Always tell my friends, a smile can change the world. You know, Mother Teresa also said same stuff. Last month we had a wonderful event. 17,000 people gathered from different faiths in NASA Colosseum. Not one or two, 17,000. We are making every single year, try to bring faith leaders to come together, sit together, eat together, have a nice coffee. Easy to change the world only through our own practice. Why I studied yoga? Because I want to change myself. Peace start with me. Those who practice meditation, definitely they will change. Those who do yoga, those who do bhakti, singing, bhajans, dance, they all God gave us divine nature to sing and dance. If somebody cannot sing and dance, means that person have a problem. Even we are not utilizing our brain power more than 10%. Like Armiya said, we think Baba is an abadar. Look at the way he acted for the world. He never think about himself. He think about people around the world. He had 6 symbols. All cover divinity. Easy to talk about spirituality and Vedanta. Very hard to live in Vedanta and spirituality. But we are able to change the world through our friendship. It's not like a guru-disciple. We never follow in our system. We make friendship. Last day, I got over 100,000 people on my Facebook. I just start a page for yoga. I thought somebody can put things. I write things once in a while. It became like growing. I cannot believe what is going on. Every day, 1,000 people are joining. I said, that is great. So I brought this point to the UN, to the DPI. I said, a person can change this much. If I can change, you can change. I came from Kerala. I speak only Malayalam. Even though I learned Hindi and English, I never used to speak. But when I came here, I had to speak. I had to learn. It's a must. Now I want to study more language so I can communicate more. Really, we don't need any language to communicate. We have the inner energy to communicate. So I'll mention one example. I used to run a rock climbing center in Manhattan, 62nd Street. One day I felt I want to go and see Sami Bua. That time he was 115 years old. He lived 123. So I just left the shop, went to the place. This 11th floor on 58th Street he is living. When I reached, came out from the elevator, I saw the door is open, he is waiting for me. He asked me, did you get my message? I said, yeah. He didn't send me any message through phone or email or a regular mail, through the mind. Communicate. You may have the experience. You love somebody, suddenly somebody call. You want to meet the person, suddenly somebody call. Or you see Baba or some other masters coming to your dream. That's why we all are connected. We have a great job to do it. We know around the world we have great leaders, but these days they are not caring about us or the people. They care about themselves. But we spiritual people have to educate people what is the purpose of life. Not for the dollar or the rupee or the any other currency. We are here to bring the humanity, human rights. Monday is the International Day of Human Rights. Baba always mentioned about the values, human values. If we cannot care about our generation, If we cannot care about the nature, we are failures. So, why we are having all the interfaith? To bring the peace and harmony for the humanity. With love and respect, thank you.
Thank you for those inspiring words, Dilip Ji, Guru Dilip Ji. I mean, he's worked hard, and life was a struggle for him. But he came from a small town in India, and now he has this world yoga community around the world, where he, as he said, he's got 100,000 followers on Facebook, and and basically he's a very good-hearted person. You see, you can be a guru and you can be curt, but he's very friendly and he's genuinely loving to people. So that's where he's, and he also tries to be fair to all faiths. I mean, there are those who will exalt their own and decry everyone else. He never does that. Yes, he comes from a joint Hindu-Christian family, but he's actually multi-faith at heart. So once again, a round of applause, please, for Guruji, for taking the trouble of coming and taking, an hour and a half to 2 hours each way from Manhattan in this cold, too. So thank you very much. So the next group is the Jain group. And I'm sorry, I don't have all your names. Maybe Rao Garu can help.
Thank you. So Ashok Jain and his group are here to represent Jainism, and they have a talk and beautiful music to present. So Ashok ji.
Yes.
Two chairs.
I'll take it.
One on that side. And that hole. That hole.
नहीं ढोलक को नहीं ढोलक बहुत अच्छी प्ले नहीं करती इसलिए ढोलक को नहीं हाँ जी चलो इसको सहारा दे इतना आगे मत रखो बहुत तेज आवाज आएगी पीछे करो
I would also like other folks to join for this day. Papaji, Papaji, come. Babiji,
वो कह रहे मैं नहीं आ
I am. Good afternoon. Namaste and Jai Jinendra. The Jain greetings are called with Jai Jinendra. Jai to the Jinendras. Once again, my name is Ashok Jain, representing the Jain faith and an organization, non-profit organization called International Jain Sangh. The folks you see here on the chair, Anita Jain and Ashmi Jain. Anita is my younger sister, and Ashmi is my niece. And behind them are Shakti Vijay, is Anita's husband. Madhu is my other sister. And Rajinder is her husband. And on my right side here is my elder brother Rajinder Jain and his wife Nirmal. See, all these folks, their last name is Jain. As so happened in North India, most folks in North India kept their last name also as Jain, not as their caste, as their last name. This was to identify that during the Mughal rule that they belonged to the Jain faith as a protection. you will find this practice more prevalent in North India. In South India and other western parts of India, people use their other names like Parekh, Shah, and other things. Okay, so here is the plan we have. We're going to sing some bhajans, music, in praise of the Lord, Mahavira. Jainism is one of the earliest religions of the world. The first Tirthankar's name was Rishabh Dev, which is also known as by Adinath. And there are lots of temples in India for Adinath Bhagawan. And the last Tirthankar, 24th, the 24th Tirthankar is Jina. The name Jainism came from the word Jina. Jina is the one who has conquered his inner passions and has conquered hate and is conquered desires. That's Jina. And the followers of Jina and the Jina's priest are Tirthankars, and they're called Jains. The faith is called Jainism. Okay? One of the ways Jains usually start an event is by their prayer, Jain prayer called Namokar Mantra. Namokar Mantra does not praise any particular sect or even God. It starts with Arihantas. Arihantas meaning all the gods, Siddhas, all the folks who have achieved great knowledge, Acharyas, the teachers, and Sadhus, Sahu, meaning the ones who are the monks. So it's all related to bowing to those who uplift you, who improve your life, who create this awareness in you to recognize that soul and karma are related. Your karmas, your actions decide who you are. Just like Bhagawan said, love all, serve all. That's what love and serve. Serve is karma. Serving is karma, good karma. That's what it's all about. So now we will start with the Jain prayer, Namokar Mantra, and the two ladies in the front, they'll also be playing an instrument called Dholak. So let's start with Namokar Mantra.
Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ariyanam, Namo Vajayanam, Namo Loe Sab Sahunam, Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ariyanam, Namo Vajayanam, Namo Loe Sab Sahunam, Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ariyanam, Namo Vajayanam, Namo Loe Sab Sahunam. Eso Panch Namokaro Sabbe Pavapanasano Mangalaranch Savesi Padamam Havai Mangalam Mangalaranch Savesi Padamam Havai Mangalam.
And thank you. And now they will sing the first bhajan in praise of the Lord Mahavira. Mahavira was the 24th Tirthankar in the Jain order and was born 500 BC. So The last Tirthankar goes to like as far as like 2600 years from now. Okay? And it was same time when Buddha was his junior contemporary. So Jainism and Buddha kind of grew in India side by side. If you really think of it, Jainism and Buddha, and in Bihar, both places were centers of Jainism and Buddhism. Those of you who know state of Bihar in India, that's where. So now we're going to do the next bhajan on Mahavira, praising the Lord.
Mahavira, Mahavira, bolo sabhi.
Bolo sabhi.
Mahavira, Mahavira, bolo sabhi. Bolo sabhi. शुद्ध मन से भक्ति भाव से शुद्ध मन से भक्ति भाव से महावीरा महावीरा बोलो सभी शुद्ध मन से भक्ति भाव से शुद्ध मन से भक्ति भाव से मेरे महावीर का जयकारा जोर से लगाना गुणगान गाना कहीं भूल न जाना महावीरा महावीरा बोलो सभी शुद्ध मन से भक्ति भाव से शुद्ध मन से भक्ति भाव से महावीर का उज्जवल रूप निराला है चंदन और केसर की खुशबू वाला है तुम तेरा का सबको मत वाला है तेरा पार करने वाला है मेरे महावीर का जयकारा जोर से लगाना गुणगान गाना कहीं भूल न जाना महावीरा महावीरा बोलो सभी शुद्ध मन से भक्ति भाव से शुद्ध मन से भक्ति भाव से सच्चे मन से जो भी कोई आता है खाली झोली लेकर कर ले जाता है सच्चे से जो दर पर शीश झुकाता है मन की मुरादें वो पूरी कर जाता है मेरे महावीर का जयकारा जोर से लगाना गुणगान गाना कहीं भूल न जाना महावीरा महावीरा बोलो सभी शुद्ध मन से भक्ति भाव से शुद्ध मन से भक्ति भाव से महावीरा महावीरा बोलो सभी महावीरा महावीरा बोलो सभी महावीरा महावीरा बोलो सभी
Okay, very good. Thank you. The next bhajan is on Bhagawan. Bhagawan here. Bhagawan Mahavir and Bhagawan everywhere. They are trying to write a letter to Bhagawan. But they say, Bhagawan, we are trying to write a letter to Bhagawan, but we don't know your address. So they're singing the praises they ask the rivers, the stars, the sun and the moon. They ask their gurus. They all say, we don't know the address, but the real address is in your heart. That's where Bhagawan is. That's what the message of Bhagawan here also. Love, heart. Love all, serve all. So, with that, next song, bhajan on Bhagawan.
भगवान तुम्हें हम खत लिखते पता हमें मालूम नहीं। भगवान तुम्हें हम खत लिखते, पर पता हमें मालूम नहीं। सूरज से पूछा, चंदा से पूछा, और पूछा गगन के तारों से। सूरज से पूछा, चंदा से पूछा, और पूछा गगन के तारों से। तारों ने कहा आकाश में है, पर पता हमें मालूम नहीं। तारों ने कहा आकाश में है, पर पता हमें मालूम नहीं। गंगा से पूछा, यमुना से पूछा, और पूछा गहरे सागर से। गंगा से पूछा, यमुना से पूछा, और पूछा गहरे सागर से। सागर ने कहा पानी में है, पर पता हमें मालूम नहीं। सागर ने कहा पानी में है, पर पता हमें मालूम नहीं। फूलों से पूछा, माली से पूछा, माली ने पूछा हाली से। फूलों से पूछा, माली से पूछा, और लीली ने पूछा हाली से। हाली ने कहा माटी में है, पर पता हमें मालूम नहीं। हाली ने कहा माटी में है, पर पता हमें मालूम नहीं। इधर से पूछा, उधर से पूछा, और पूछा अपने गुरुओं से। इधर से पूछा, उधर से पूछा, और पूछा अपने गुरुओं से। गुरुओं ने कहा तेरे मन में है, पर पता तुझे मालूम नहीं। गुरुओं ने कहा तेरे मन में है, पर पता तुझे मालूम नहीं। भगवान तुम्हें हम खत लिखते, पर पता हमें मालूम नहीं। भगवान तुम्हें हम खत लिखते, पर पता हमें मालूम नहीं।
So see, they wrote the letter, they say, we tried to write a letter, but we don't know what the address is. Final answer was, Guru said, hey, it's in your man, it's in your heart. I don't know the address, but it's in your heart. So, next is basically then we can come back to the Namokar Mantra prayer again, which says, everything begins with Namokar Mantra and everything ends with Namokar Mantra. So in closing, we will say, in a different format, sing Namokar Mantra, and then I will close with a final prayer. Okay.
नवकार मंत्र है न्यारा, जिसने लाखों को तारा। नवकार मंत्र है न्यारा, इसने लाखों को तारा। इस महामंत्र का जाप करो, भव जल से मिले किनारा। नमो अरिहंतानम, नमो सिद्धानम, नमो आयर्यानम, नमो वजायानम, नमो लोए सब साहुनम। ईसो पंच नमोकारो, सर्व पावपनाशनो। मंगलानंच सर्वे सिंह, परमम हवै मंगलम। मंगलानंच सर्वे सिंह, परमं हवै मंगलम नमो 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 नमो। बोलिए भगवान महावीर स्वामी की जय।
Thank you, thank you.
The prayer I am going to sing is on the 23rd Tirthankar Parshanath. By reciting this prayer, I am praying that all the sins and all the evils and all the bad things stay away from us, and we pray for peace and happiness in this world. Usagaram pasam pasam vandami kamgan mukam vishar vishnanasam mangal kalyanavasam vishar puling mante kantadarye jo syamanu tasya gai rogamari tucharajante avasam चिट्ठो दूरे मंतो तुझ पनामो भी बहु फली होए नर्तयसु जीवा पावंती ना दुख गोचम तुहे समत्ते लद्दे चिंतामणि कपाव्ये पावंती अविगेनम जीवा रामरम थानम। ये संतो महायस भक्ति भर निभरेन हियन ता देव दिजबोही भवे भवे पास चिंचन भवे भवे पास चिंचन भवे भवे पास चिंचन। पार्शनाथ भगवान की जय। Thank you very much.
You can take this mic. Small stand, okay. Switch mics. So, sisters and brothers, thank you very much for the Jain group for very nice bhajans, very soothing bhajans, and the prayers. That was very well done, and our thanks to you for coming and performing for the glory of the Lord. So next is, thank you, a round of applause, please, for the Jain group. So next up is Akshay Gandikota. He is from the Sathya Sai Baba Center of East Brunswick, and he'll be singing devotional songs in the classical style. And Akshay will give us a short description of each. Go ahead, Akshay.
My most humble pranams at Bhagawan's lotus feet, respected elders, and dear brothers and sisters, Sairam to all of you. My first song that I'm going to be singing is called Ayo Vittale, and it's by a composer named Bhakt Namadev. And so basically it worships Lord Panduranga and, prays for his grace and says that he's always there when people need him. Could we test?
Is there a presentation that you wanted?
Yeah, for the second
Okay, it's being tested, so let's wait a minute. It's being set up. Sorry for the delay. You want to wait another minute? Shall we wait another minute for the presentation?
The presentation is for the second song.
Okay, okay. So let's go ahead then. Sorry.
But I need to test the reverb on the mic.
Can you please test the reverb on the mic? Do you want to sing just as a test? More reverb. Little more. Is that good? Okay. That's for the second song.
The song is called Aid and Cpr.
सजल जलद घन पीतांबर परिधाना सजल जलद घन पीतांबर परिधाना सजल जलद घन पीतांबर परिधाना ये उतरने जनवत्सले नमामणे तू विश्वाची जननी जननी नमामणे तू विश्वाची जननी विश्वाची जननानी विश्वाची जननी नमामणे तू विश्वाची जननी नमामणे तू विश्वाची जननी शिराब्दी निवासिनी जगदंबे शिराब्दी निवासिनी जगदंबे भक्त जनवत्सले हरि भक्त जनवत्सले ओ विठ्ठले भक्त जनवत्सले ओ विठ्ठले पांडुरंग 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 ना
A big round of applause for Akshay. Now we have his next presentation.
So this next song is called Brahmamokate, and it's by Saint Annamacharya. So during his time, he was known a lot for transcending the boundaries of the Hindu caste system, or I should say of the Indian caste system, which was there back then. And he would use in his songs, the common vernacular of the people and low and basic language in order to reach out to the masses. And so he would have a profound effect on everyone around him. So could we go to the next slide? And the first slide. Brahmamokate, it means God is one for all. So all religions, all gods, and for all types of people, God is one. So yeah. So the first line is Tandana Nahi, and it's basically, it's a common vernacular for the people that expresses that God is one. So this line, there's no class distinction, right? So even the Harijans, as Gandhiji calls them, there's no difference between God and their ability to worship them, and there's no difference between high, low, rich, or poor. And so the Supreme God is always one who dwells in all beings, and so everyone has a spark of divinity in all. And yeah, so there's no distinction even amongst creatures, whether it be a human, an animal, an elephant, or a mouse. And so it celebrates the glory of this oneness. So yeah, the rich and the poor, they're alike. There's no difference between them. They all have the same God. And so this line refers to the Harijans and Brahmins. There's no difference between the Brahmins or the people who do the work in the streets. And so this line compares it from an elephant to a dog. And so it compares God and uses an analogy, compares him to the sun, right? The sunlight falls on everyone. Just like that, God falls on everyone as well and showers them with his grace. So yeah, Para Brahma Mokati, God is one for it. Brahma Mokate Para Brahma Mokate Brahma Mokate Para Brahma Mokate Para Brahma Mokate Para Brahma Mokate Tananai Tananana Pure Tananana Bhala Tandanana Bhala Tandanana Bhala Tandanana Nidara Rajuni Drinchu Nidrayunokate Andane Bantu Nidradiyunokate Nidara Rajuni Drinchu Nidrayunokate Andane Bantu Nidradiyunokate Mendena Brahmanudu Mettu Bhumi Yogate Mendena Brahmanudu Mettu Bhumi Yogate Chanaludundeti Sari Bhumi Yogate Mendena Brahmanudu Mettu Bhumi Yogate Chanaludundeti Sari Bhumi Yogate Brahma Mokate Para Brahma Mokate Para Brahma Mokate Para Brahma Mokate Tandananai Tandanana Pure Tandanana Bhala Tandanana Bhala Tandanana Bhala Tandanana Kadagi Yenu Mida Kayun Yendokate Putami Sunakamu Mida Pavayun Yendokate Kadagi Yenu Mida Kayu Yendokate Purnami Sunakamu Mida Pavayun Yendokate Kadupunyularu Papakalmulanu Sarigavajadi Sri Venkateshwaru Nama Mokate Kadupunyularu Papakalmulanu Sarigavajadi Sri Venkateshwaru Nama Mokate Brahma Mokate Para Brahma Mokate Para Brahma Mokate Para Brahma Mokate Tandananai Tandanana Pure Tandanana Bhala 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 Tandanana
Give my hand, Akshay. Thanks, Akshay. Next up, we have Dr. Sundar Iyer, who's a yoga master, a renowned yoga master, who spent his formative years as a personal attendant to Sri Sathya Sai Baba. And he was deeply inspired by his spiritual guidance. He says, I've always wanted to teach yoga as a lifestyle for spiritual practice, not as a physical exercise alone. And he believes that yoga is a journey of discovering who you are. Dr. Iyer is also an ordained ecumenical minister, ordained by the Ecumenical Ministry for Unity of Religions in Ojai, California. He speaks and conducts Unity of Religions programs in different parts of the US and Canada. So please, come up and thank you. Brother.
Good evening, my dear sisters and brothers. I offer my most grateful and humble salutations at the feet of my beloved Sadguru, Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. I was born and raised in Bombay, which is now known as Mumbai, India. Raised in a very orthodox, traditional South Indian family. My last name, Iyer, should speak a lot about that.
For those who know.
For those who know.
For those who don't.
While my parents were very ardent devotees of Shiva, Shakti, and so on, they sent me to a Catholic school. So growing up, I saw early morning pujas of Shiva, Shakti, his son Murugan, known as Kartik Bhagawan, and so on. And then I would go to school and I would be part of the choir that would sing, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. And as I grew in this, it was a Roman Catholic school, so you had two extremes of one Orthodox Hindu family and one Roman Catholic school. And as a child, I had no problems listening to the nice stories of Jesus and coming home and listening to the nice stories of Shiva and Shakti. But as I grew and as any teenager would, I began to wonder that when I come home, I see these gods with spears, 4 heads. Nobody had 2 hands. Everybody had a minimum of 4 hands. And then I go to school and I was told hell and heaven and sinner and forgiveness and confessions. I was a little confused between the two. And I asked questions. And I was told that I am now old enough to wear a sacred thread. And I said, what is a sacred thread? And why can't other boys my age in my school wear a sacred thread? And I was told it is meant for the few and not to everyone. And it is paths to enlightenment. I said, what about my friends? Don't they need enlightenment? They say, no, but you deserve it. You're born to that family, and so on and so forth. And I couldn't justify then how can I alone, for no rhyme or reason, be eligible for enlightenment and not others? Why was I taught that I was somehow a sinner that seeks forgiveness all the time? And why was that God up there somewhere favoring a few and not favoring the others? And I tried to find answers in these 2 religions that I was raised in, literally, one in school and one at home. I saw glimpses of deep answers. But at that point, at the age of 13, 14, and 15, I couldn't get very far. I couldn't find anybody who taught me the deeper significance of who Shiva was or Shakti was, or how they were powerful symbols pointing to something far more universal in nature. I didn't understand the deeper messages of Jesus as the messenger of love more than a symbol of a religion. And that is crucifixion stands for the highest form of selflessness and love and sacrifice. I somehow missed learning that. By the time I was 17, I was up to neck with religion. I said I had enough of pujas, enough of satsangs, enough of churches, enough of choirs and singing. And I was very disoriented with the idea of God, so much so that as any young boy, I guess, I decided I really don't want to get into this. But then I was, I had passed my 12th grade. My father got transferred to some remote village in the north where there were no colleges. And so my whole family was thinking, now, what do you do after your 12th grade? You have to go to college, and there is no college where your dad is now. So how do you go to college? And if you're wondering, in India those days, and I'm talking in the 70s, we didn't have residential colleges, not many of them. There were few of them. They were either for the rich or the intelligent. And I was neither of those. I didn't come from a rich family, so I couldn't afford those residential colleges. And I was far from being considered intelligent. I was told when I was very young that I'm not good in math. And people who do yoga with me know that I count very slowly. So I am not very good in math. And so, as this was a question raised in the family and everybody was desperately looking for a place, a tiny little door opened in a distant, far-off village in India, almost 1,000 miles away from where I lived in Mumbai. There was a little village and a guru who was not as well known as he is today. His name was Sai Baba. They said he's opening a college. And my grandmother immediately said, no, we don't want any Babas and Sai Babas and miracle workers in my family. We belong to Shiva and Murugan and they are the gods. We don't want anybody else in the family. Very staunch, ardent devotees. No. But then somebody whispered, and my dad said, yes. We don't want to get into that. This is our path, this is our faith. No, we don't want to do all this. And somebody whispered to my dad and my father and my grandmother, by the way, this college is 100% free. This education is 100% free. And just like that, the plates changed. And they said, oh, by the way, in that case, why don't you go and try it? We'll see how it works. And then began a saga of discovery, of learning, of broadening the horizons of how religion was a step to spirituality, how religion was a bud which blossomed into spirituality, how spirituality brought everyone together in interconnectedness, in oneness, irrespective of what faith or belief. Because if you analyze today, every religion has this one basis: love. There is no religion that says love is not part of our teaching. There is no religion that says, oh, by the way, we teach everything but truth. If anything, they say we are the only ones who teach the truth, and that's good. There is no religion that says, oh, we talk about everything but not right action and righteousness. We don't believe in dharma. Every religion talks about right action, ethical, moral principles that govern us as an individual, govern us as a family, govern us as a community and as a nation. There is no religion that doesn't speak of non-violence. Everybody believes in non-violence. Everybody wants non-violence. Satya, truth. Dharma, right action. Shanti, peace. Prema, love. Ahimsa, non-violence. When I entered the ashram of Sai Baba in 1979, as a young boy of 17 years old, these were the words I heard. I didn't hear Shiva was powerful and Jesus was even more powerful, or Mahavira or Buddha, or I heard all of these names together, and everybody was praising everyone, but more than anything, there were these 5 values. And Baba said, if you understand these 5 values, you know that all the religions unite in this one place called human values. And that opened my heart in a whole different dimension. He didn't teach us mantras from the point of view of propagating one particular religion. He didn't teach us the path of Jesus to propagate only Christianity. He took the essence of the teachings of Jesus, taught us the values that Jesus stood for. He took the messages of Mahavira and taught us the values and the powerful message that Mahavir stood for. He took the essence from Buddha's teachings and taught us how Buddha was indomitable and in all embracing in his knowledge. He took the essence from the Sikhism, from Guru Nanak, and taught us the importance of Sikhism. And in all that, he kept reminding us, listen, hear, and see that all of these religions talk 5 things. And all their teachings can be condensed to 5 words: Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, and Ahimsa. I have come to light the lamp of love in your hearts, he said in a letter that he wrote many years ago. And I want to read this letter. This was the powerful vision of a young Satya when he set out in his mission in the world. back at the time when the world was broken up into fragments by religion. Not that it is any better off today. But then rather than sitting and cursing the world around, he said, I am going to light a lamp. He taught us through his life, through his messages, that rather than curse the darkness, light a lamp. That will make a difference, maybe not to the entire world, but it will make to the few people that are around the lamp. It will help you see the next step in your life. I have come to light the lamp of love in your hearts, to see that it shines day by day with added luster, he said. And this was a simple letter written to one of his brothers. Not when he had 50,000 and 500,000 people following him, when he had barely a handful. He had this vision already implanted. I have not come on behalf of any exclusive religion. I have not come on any mission of publicity for any particular sect or creed or caste. I have no plans to attract devotees and followers into my fold or any fold. I have come to tell you. And this is what he did every day of his life throughout the 15 years that I stayed, and many of us stayed. And I speak as one boy out of the thousands of boys have passed out through his institution and through his ashram in the 30 or the 40 years of his existence today. I have come to tell you of this unitary faith, this spiritual principle, this path of love, this virtue of love, this duty of love, this obligation to love. If people ask me, what was the message of Sai Baba? The message was love. What did he stand for? He stood for love. Can you describe his whole mission in one word? Love. Today, if we have a choice to look at the world and blame the world for where it is and talk about violence and how religion has divided people and blame X and Y, or we have a choice to share love, to give love, to speak of love. Because if there's anything that can unite us as individuals, if there's anything that can unite us as a society, if there's anything that can unite nations together, if there is any magic pill, any magic faith that can bring all of people in one platform, it's love. It is that love that Sai Baba lived his life through. It is that love that where he celebrated every religion, every faith in his ashram. That is why it's boldly put in cement, in stone, symbols of every particular religion. There is only one religion, he said, and he kept saying this year after year, decade after decade, reminding us constantly, there is only one religion, the religion of love. There is only one caste, the caste of humanity. There is only one language, the language of the heart. There is only one God, and He is omnipresent. That was the essence of the teaching of this grand master. We call that New Age spirituality today. But deep in our hearts, every one of us know there is nothing New Age about this. As a child, we wanted to play with our friends without any distinction of creed or color or caste or belief. As a 2-year-old, you went to anybody and everybody without any shame, fear, guilt. Nothing held you back. Your mother had to actually literally pull you back for your own safety. But you could go to anyone. What happened? Yes, we all in this room are together for this lighting of this lamp. And this is what we need to do. And I really heartily congratulate the Sarva Dharma Service Center and really appreciate this great effort. We need such platforms and more of these. Is there ever enough of these? Could we do this once a month? Could we do this once a week? Could we do this once a year? As often as we can, as many places as we can. We need to constantly remind us, our children, and ourselves as individuals, as family members, as community members, that we are one. There is only one humanity here. There's only one mankind. There is this one magical planet in which great teachers like these have come to teach us that one message time and again, the message of love, the message of unity. On his 65th birthday in 1990, Baba requested some of us to write a play. And he said, I want you to write a play on my favorite theme. We said, what is it, Baba? He said, unity. Write on unity. Let there be a story of a village, he said. Bring all the religions together in that play. Let people see that every religion can pray together to one God. Where is that place where there is one roof under which everyone meets? And today, in the auspices of this altar, that is the symbol, what we are doing today. It doesn't matter if you don't believe in Sai Baba or regard him as the Guru. It really doesn't matter. His ardent wish was and would have been, and that you only believe in this unity in your heart. And know that your path leads to the divine, your faith leads to the divine, and so does other faiths too. Practice tolerance. Your faith is the best faith. Your faith is the most powerful faith. Yes, and so are the others. Each one is the best. How can, if a mother has 4 children, if a mother has 5 children, ask her which one is the best children? She'll say every one of them is the best. When she puts the youngest one to sleep, she'll go and whisper in his ear, you are the best and my favorite. And the young one goes to sleep thinking, yes. And she goes to the eldest daughter and says, you are but my only eldest daughter and my favorite one. And she says, yes. Everyone feels they are the best and the favorite, but the mother knows that all of them are her children. The universal divine consciousness, the cosmic principle that we call God, that we search for in ourselves, in others, in everyone in the universe, that cosmic principle has given birth to all these innumerable paths for us to follow. And as many individuals as are there in this hall, that many paths exist to reach this divine consciousness. God realization is our goal. Jesus said this, Muhammad said this, Krishna said this, Mahavir said this, Buddha said this, in many words. And every path leads to the same goal. My dear sisters and brothers, there is only one religion, the religion of love. There is only one God, and He is omnipresent. When I was a child, I was asked to say this prayer every morning in the school. I was lead the school in this prayer. And I never knew why I was chosen, but when I met Baba, I understood the power of this prayer, written by Tagore, Rabindranath Tagore, who was perhaps the first Indian, and perhaps the only Indian, I'm not sure, I could be wrong, to win the Nobel Prize for his wonderful work on Gitanjali. And many of you who were born and raised in India would perhaps remember this poem. It says, where the mind is without fear, and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where the words come out from the depths of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear streams of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sands of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, he writes, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. And to that wonderful poem I say, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, may all our countries awake. If there is one prayer that I learned in the presence of Baba, this was it. Samasta lokha sukhino bhavantu. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. That is the only prayer, he said, ask from your heart. And in the prayer for seeking for happiness for everyone, you are included. You are taken care of in that prayer. And therefore, as in this audience, for this audience, I would like to offer on behalf of all of you and myself this prayer. Samasta lokha sukhino bhavantu. Samasta lokha sukhino bhavantu. May that be the mantra. And if you can, join with me. And in the meantime, I'll ask Rishi to come out with the harmonium. And I want to end with this, with one of my favorite bhajans. But while he's getting it ready, 4 or 5 times, doesn't matter. Let's see how it feels from your heart. It's samasta, means everything, everyone. Loka, in all the worlds. Sukhino, be happy. Bhavantu, may it be so. So if you know this, chant along. Or simply hum along. Or close your eyes and listen. And open your heart to join in this energy. And may the sound of these vibrations go out to the universe. And may the magic of that unity and love touch every heart, every soul. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let that be our prayer every night, every morning, every moment, because it's prayers like these that will make a better world for our children, for our grandchildren, so that we can leave behind a legacy of love, a legacy of unity, a legacy where there is only one religion, the religion of love. This is from a Shapad, from the Sikh religion. There is only one light, and that light lights everything in the world. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Avl Allah noor paya, कुदरत के सब बंदे एक नूर ते सब जग उपजिया कौन भले कौन मंदे कौन भले कौन मंदे राम हरे हरि नाम बोलो हरि नाम बोलो हरि नाम बोलो राम हरे हरि नाम बोलो अल्लाह अल्लाह बोलो मौला मौला बोलो नानक साई बोलो महावीर बोलो अल्लाह अल्लाह बोलो मौला मौला बोलो राम हरे हरि नाम बोलो. Call him by Ram, call him Mahavir, call him Buddha, call him Shiv, call him Sai. The different names to one formless divine principle that resides in each one of us. And may that divine principle guide us back into this unified existence of pure love. Thank you.
Thank you, Sundar Bhai, for that very nice talk. And he spent a lot of time in service. And so And when you live with a divine guru or an avatar, there are many things that are not just spoken. I mean, things are communicated through silence, through mental, and it's just knowledge is dissipated. So that's a very great blessing to live with a divine being and absorb those radiations. And he has that aura that's been picked up. So please give him another hand. So let's see who's next. I forgot to check. Give me a second, please. Next we have, oh yes, our Hanumantarao ji, just waiting there. So please come, and he'll talk on the Sarva Dharma Service Center. He's one of the founding members.
Good evening. After the prolific speakers and a beautiful voice that you heard sing and the beautiful dances that you saw, you have me. So please bear with me for the next few minutes. Sairam, I just was given the opportunity to explain to you or bring you up to what Sarva Dharma Service Center, this center, is doing. We've been in operation for the past 3 years and a half, and our the founder, Swami Sathya Sai Baba, has told us to use this building for service activities, and clearly not as a temple for me or anyone. So this is, if you want to call this a temple, you still can call it a temple, but it's a temple for service. That is our main goal, and we hope to be keeping up with it. Every bird needs two wings, and we also have two wings. One is the service, the other wing is the multi-faith. Happy to see all of you. Basically what I'm here to tell you is more about what we do as service. We have them divided into education and training, and basic needs and outreach, and health and fitness. So in the health and fitness, that is the first one that we started off after inauguration. It's the yoga classes that we started. And yoga and meditation are our main activities almost every Saturday. And recently we've been running a health camp close by with the help of a church. Doctors go there, and we have local people who are really in need that are looked after. And what we have also done is to have a homemade electronic medical record, so that when they come back, we still have their notes with their information, so that there is continuity of care, not just one-shot deal and be done with it. We also have first aid and CPR training that goes on once a year or once in 2 years, depending on the availability of people and the trainers, and also nutrition workshops. That is on the health and fitness side. The education and training, there is tutoring going on in person as well as remote. Remote tutoring is basically used to train or to help students in India, destitute ones, in fact, with their homework and with other requirement, mostly in science, mathematics, and English. There is also in-person tutoring. A couple of students are coming down here to be tutored, and we encourage all of you to use that facility if you live in this area or if you know anyone who is living in this area. We also had college counseling at times, and other things like estate planning and so on. And we also have book drives once a year at least, or ongoing actually, and we supply those books to the Caribbean nations where the children really need books. The third group of activities we have in the service activities is the basic need and outreach. what we basically have here is making some sandwiches and supplying it to the needy in the area. We have partnered with a local church which brings the sandwiches that we make here over to the people that need the services. And several other people are also doing knitting for the needy, especially in this time of the year. We make hats and mittens to be sent out to them and supplied to them. Toilet kits and winter clothing, etc. drives also go on. Right now, we are in the process of collecting everything that is required really for people who lost their homes in areas like in the war-torn areas. And so if you go out and see, there are some material that we have collected, and that's going to be going away sometime towards the end of the next month. So these are some of the activities that we do. We hope to increase and improve upon these, and we would love everyone's participation and encouragement and suggestions and everything else. So I thank you for listening to me, very dry as it is. So please enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you for coming. Namaste.
Thank you, Dr. Hanumantarao. His name is Hanumanta, so he is indeed a soldier of service for the Sarva Dharma Service Center. Among the others, there's a core group that has to run the center, and he's one of those in the core group. Amongst just a handful, everything revolves around them doing that job to keep this center running and going. So thank you for that. Maybe a little applause. Thank you. Next we have the Baha'i Group, and I don't have their names, but perhaps Hanumantarao ji can help us with that. Yes.
So the Baha'i Group is being represented by Patty White and Nancy, and welcome them to our group here. And they were here actually for the inauguration 3 years ago, and we are very happy to have them back again. Patty heads the Monmouth County Baha'i Group, and actually, as she will tell you, Baha'i is quite prevalent even in this area. There are 5 or 6 or 8, almost 8 communities that are of Baha'i nature, Baha'i followers in this county. So without much of taking your time, so here is Patty and Nancy.
I think he's going to adjust the mics. We can barely hear.
We'd like to open with a prayer, and then we'd tell you a little bit more about Baha'u'llah. And this prayer is from the writings of Baha'u'llah. All praise be to thee, source of all glory, source of glory and majesty, source of glory and all majesty, of glory and majesty. From all eternity thou didst rule creation, and thou wilt continue continue forevermore. There is none other God but Thee, none other God but Thee. All praise to Thee, the source of all glory and majesty.
I've selected a prayer for the unity of mankind. Is the volume okay? O thou kind Lord, Thou hast created all humanity from the same original parents. Thou hast intended that all belong to the same household. In Thy holy presence, they are Thy servants, and all mankind are sheltered beneath Thy tabernacle. All have gathered at Thy table of bounty and are radiant through the light of Thy providence. O God, Thou art kind to all. Thou hast provided for all, dost shelter all. Thou dost confer life upon all. Thou hast endowed all with the talents and faculties. All are submerged in the ocean of Thy mercy. O Thou kind Lord, unite all. Let the religions agree. Make the nations one, so that they may be as one kind and as children of the same fatherland. May they associate in unity and concord. O God, upraise the standard of the oneness of mankind. O God, establish the most great peace. Cement the hearts together. O God, O Thou kind Father God, exhilarate the hearts through the fragrance of Thy love. Brighten the eyes through the light of Thy guidance. Cheer the hearing with the melodies of Thy word, and shelter us in the cave of Thy providence. Thou art the mighty and powerful. Thou art the forgiving, and Thou art the one who overlookest the shortcomings of humankind.
We are, I can't remember being in such a lovely group of people. Every single speaker has been so moving, and the music and the dancing, and I just want to thank everyone here, because this is exactly Baha'u'llah's vision for the world, what you people have brought today. So Nancy and I, just FYI, we're not clergy, we're just members of the Baha'i community. We don't actually have a clergy. But we want to share with you a little bit about who Baha'u'llah was, what he taught us, and what we're doing in our little communities. And then we do have a very special treat. There's a short little video about what some of you know about the Baha'i Temple, which is in New Delhi, India. And some of you have been there, I think, and it's quite lovely. Last year, in 2017, all over the world, the Baha'is celebrated the 200th anniversary of the birth of Baha'u'llah, who's the founder of the Baha'i faith. And that's the word Baha'i means that we are followers of Baha'u'llah. And since the founding, since his birth, the Baha'i faith has spread to virtually every corner in the globe. Your turn. We're switching back and forth so that you won't get bored.
Who was Baha'u'llah? Baha'u'llah was born into a wealthy and powerful family in Iran in 1817. But he gave up all his wealth and possessions to bring God's message for today. Because of his faith, Baha'u'llah was bastinadoed, beaten on the soles of his feet, imprisoned in a dungeon in heavy chains, exiled from country to country, and imprisoned again for much of the rest of his life. But all these only served to spread his teachings to a wider audience. He was still able to deliver God's message to the world, the message of unity, peace, and justice for all people and nations.
One of the principal teachings of Baha'u'llah is that in every age over history, God has sent a messenger to humanity, as represented by your beautiful symbols on the walls. Those that we know from history, from the past, have been great religious teachers such as Krishna, Moses, Mohammed, Buddha, and Jesus Christ. They have all taught us about God and how we should live our lives, as you all have said many times today.
Baha'is understand that each messenger builds upon the messages of those gone before. Like children in a school, we learn more from each teacher. As that our individual souls may progress towards spiritual perfection, and human society may make progress towards equality, prosperity, and peace. All the messengers in the past have promised that a great world teacher would come, who would bring an age of peace to mankind. Baha'is believe that Baha'u'llah fulfilled all the promises and prophecies of the past when he announced his message to the world. We believe that the same spirit which was in all the messengers is in Baha'u'llah.
The name Baha'u'llah means the glory of God. This title actually is mentioned in many holy books of the past, of our past, collective humanity. We believe that Baha'u'llah is the Prince of Peace promised to the Jews by Isaiah. To Christians, he is Christ returned in the glory of the Father. To Shia Islam, he is the return of the Imam Hussein. To Sunni Islam, he's the descent of the Spirit of God. To the Hindus, the reincarnation of Krishna. And to the Buddhists, the fifth Buddha, Maitreya, the Buddha of universal fellowship. So this is if you think about it, this is a very big claim that Baha'u'llah is making, and it is really meant to be for every person, every soul in the world.
Each messenger brings social teachings designed for that particular age. The teachings of Baha'u'llah for the age we live in today. In a few hundred years' time, another messenger will appear, and so on throughout the ages. The coming of Baha'u'llah is the beginning of a new age in the history of humankind.
The main message then of Baha'u'llah is unity, not just unity of religion, unity of nations, of all of mankind, but with our diversity, not to just be the same. This is the thing that we need the most in this world, because over a period of thousands of years, we have learned, little by little, to live peacefully in larger and larger groups. It used to be you're just in your tribes, then cities, then nations. What we need today is a world civilization, and there are signs that this is happening, world peace and world unity. And this is really the first time in history when it's actually possible to achieve this.
And another fundamental aspect of unity is recognition of every person, and every person is of value, and everyone should be treated with respect.
So in addition to working for peace and justice on local, national, and international levels, Baha'is are working in our communities to try to inspire and empower people to improve their own lives and the lives of those around them. This amounts to service. So the whole reason for this center to exist is to provide service. That is one of the main obligations of a Baha'i, is to serve the community. And we look for opportunities wherever we live and try to help people of all ages, from the youngest to the oldest.
Forgive me.
Don't jump ahead.
For children, there are classes where they learned the practice virtues such as kindness, honesty, generosity, through songs, games, art, and crafts.
And for young adults, or we call them junior youth ages around 11 to 15, this is a very sensitive and special age for children, where they're not even little kids anymore. They're starting to think about what they want to do, what they want to believe, and yet they're not adults, obviously. They have a lot of energy and a very strong sense of justice and trying to find their place in the world. The Baha'is have started what we call junior youth groups in many communities around the world, and in some places they've been so successful, they've been integrated, these groups have been integrated into the public school systems, because it's not actually religious teaching, it's more moral teaching revolving around service, and it helps to channel that immense energy and enthusiasm that young people have. Like that young man, is he still here? The singer? Boy, he was great. How old was he? The young man, 15, 14? 15. Yeah. That is a wonderful service that he's doing, and carrying forth the culture and taking that time and energy to learn that music. And there are kids like that all over the world who need this.
Baha'is are always learning. Adult Baha'is and their friends spend time together in study circles, which include how to run classes for children and junior youth groups, and Baha'is aim to lead a lifetime of service to humanity.
So I apologize if this sounds a little bit formal, but we wanted to make sure that we gave you a nice introduction and didn't really miss anything. And certainly, please come see us afterwards. We'd like to share some of the words of Baha'u'llah, and then the little video, and then we'll close with another prayer. So the faith, these are some of the words of Baha'u'llah that guide us in our daily actions and decision making. Really, when things are very troubled and in turmoil today, almost everywhere we turn, and sometimes it's hard to know what's the right thing to do. How should we feel about this or that? And yet, pretty much everything everybody has said today, unity, love, service, you can't go wrong with those things. Baha'u'llah tells us the earth is but one country, and mankind its citizens.
And he says, choose one language from among those now existing, or adopt a new one, and select a common script, both of which should be taught in all the schools of the world.
If carried to excess, civilization will prove as prolific a source of evil as it had been of goodness when kept within the restraints of moderation.
Trustworthiness is the greatest portal. leading unto the tranquility and security of the people. In truth, the stability of every affair hath depended and doth depend upon it.
Ye are the fruits of one tree, and the leaves of one branch. Deal ye one with another with the utmost love and kindliness, and harmony, with friendship, friendliness and fellowship.
So powerful is the light of unity that it can illuminate the whole world.
So before we start the video, Nancy, do you want to tell people about your trip to India?
I will, yes. I'm sure some of you have been to the Lotus Temple in New Delhi, have you? Yes.
Oh my.
Yes. My husband and I had the opportunity to go about 5 years ago. We took a gorgeous trip around Rajasthan on that train, the Palace on Wheels. So we started in New Delhi. And I just wanted to say it's won many awards, not just for the beauty, but the complexity of the structure. The lotus petals are very heavy, and they're constructed of both cement and glass, and it's been the first time they were able to engineer this. And it's able to reflect the light in the daytime from outside, the sunlight in through the glass and cement. And then at night, it's illuminated electronically, of course, and then that's reflected out. So I hope this little 3-minute video will give a good view, but it's also important to know it hasn't been built for the Baha'i community. It's for everyone. So there are always 9 sides to each Baha'i house of worship, 9 doors representing all the 9 major religions in the world. The Lotus Temple in New Delhi has gorgeous 9 pools surrounding it, and that also reflects the light. So it's really gorgeous to visit. I hope you do get to see it. And then this is another. I'm sorry we're so far away you can't see, but at night you can see the illumination is really outstanding. So I hope the video will.
And if you want to come leaf through the book later, please catch us.
Yes, find us.
And before I show this, this video is actually part of a longer documentary about the history of the Baha'i faith in India, as well as the construction of the temple. Yeah, that's what I was doing. Oh, there we go. Okay. Of course it did. I knew it would. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
There you go. Is there sound? I don't hear any sound.
I think the TV also timed out.
Of course it did. What I also wanted to tell you, this is a 3-minute segment, I think I just said this, of a larger documentary, which you can probably see online if you wanted to, learn a little bit more.
Right.
Okay, are we ready? Let's try. There we go. Okay.
India, a land of rich cultural heritage. Its people steeped in traditions of ancient and diverse faiths. Indian life, Indian art, and perhaps most of all, Indian architecture display the diverse panoply of significant and powerful symbols, expressive of the innermost life of the spirit of man. Symbols that unite man with his creator. Symbols that have often separated him from his fellow man. Akbar, the greatest of the Mughal emperors, from his magnificent palace near Agra, dreamed of uniting all the diverse people of India under the banner of one universal faith. Well, I dreamed that stone by stone, I reared a sacred fane, a temple, neither pagode, mosque, nor church, but loftier, simpler, always open door to every breath from heaven. And truth and peace and love and justice came and dwelt therein. But such a goal remained far beyond the reach of even the most powerful emperor. In 1880, Jamal Effendi sailed to Bombay, bringing the Baha'i faith, the teachings of Baha'u'llah, to the Indian subcontinent. The Baha'i faith, newest of the world's major religions, proclaimed the underlying spiritual unity of the diverse peoples and religions of humankind, the impending fulfillment of Akbar's dream, a truly universal religion. Through the next 100 years, the Baha'i community grew, developing the foundations of religious unity. The young Baha'i community longed to build a unique temple that all the people of India could recognize as their own. After a century of germination, a remarkable lotus-shaped temple has blossomed in the heart of India. Attracting more than 2 million visitors a year, rivaling the Eiffel Tower and the Taj Mahal, the new temple welcomes people of all races, all religions, all cultures, and all classes. It is the Baha'i house of worship, Mashriq al-Azkar, the dawning place of the mention of God.
I hope you all enjoyed that. And this last prayer we want to share is also from the writings of Baha'u'llah, and it's very often sung in our houses of worship. The words are telling us that any place where we praise God is a blessed spot. Blessed is the spot, and the house, and the place, and the city, and the heart, and the mountain, and the refuge, and the cave, and the valley, and the land, and the sea, and the island, and the meadow, where mention of God hath been made, and his praise glorified. Thank you so much, everyone. You were lovely.
Thank you, Patty and Nancy, for that presentation. Talking about the Baha'i Temple in Delhi, when I was there, it's a wonderful feeling once you go in there. It's not just the architecture is wonderful as well, but the feeling you get once you get in there is something very unimaginable and inexplicable. Thank you for bringing that to us, and thank you both for coming. And we look forward to seeing you more. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. Another round of applause, please, for that wonderful presentation. I was there at the Lotus Temple also with my family. It's a feeling of bliss when you go inside, because it has the infinite Lord as the image, so to speak, in your mind. That's what you see when you go in is a very fantastic place, and even outside. So it gives a feeling of bliss when you enter. So thank you very much. So next we have the Bailey family, brother and sister, Audrey and Warren. Please come. Did you want to sit down? No, you can, you understand it?
Chairs.
We have chairs.
Which side would you like us to be on? This side, this side?
Right in the middle.
In the middle? We're not singing.
You're not singing, but you can talk.
We're just going to do a brief talk and we're going to do some prayers. We were not prepared to sing this.
Okay, not this time.
I'm so sorry. No, our stuff is very
Then you can stand here and at the mics.
Bhagawan. Actually, most of the times that we've come before, we've come as a family of three, my sister and my brother Warren and myself. And we've talked about our various experiences. When we came into, as they would say, the orbit of Sri Sathya Sai Baba. But what we have never explained was how we got there, how we arrived there. Of course, he was calling us in every way possible. But just prior to coming into that fold, I know I have such a big mouth, a loud one, my mother used to tell me, so I started before the mic. My family basically were raised to be Christian. It was something that was just, you always inherited. I loved Christ when I was growing up, and I just could not imagine how a lot of things were happening to us, and Christ was there and he knew about it. But as I grew older, and very similar to the young man that spoke earlier, which I really, really enjoyed, believe me, and the women before, I kind of fell away from all kinds of beliefs. I was always searching, but it was never there for me. And my family and I moved to California, and we lived there for about 7 years. But just before coming to Sathya Sai Baba, I was given a book, and it was entitled God's Way of Life. And the reason I was so drawn to this book was because after reading a few verses, I said, I have to meet this person who wrote this book. But the book was almost given as, or it was, how can I say it? It was written through this woman. Her name was Adele Tinning. She has since passed in the early 90s, but she wrote this book and it could not be sold. She could only give it away. And I, as many times as I would ask her to send me books, I'm going to send this book to someone else, she finally just sent me boxes of books, and I sent them to everyone because it was giving the beliefs that I always had inherently. And it was given through a Christian base. This woman had, or received messages, I guess, from childhood. And she wrote this book where each one of the entities giving these lessons were from biblical times. And the one reading I had selected for my brother to read today is one through Christ, through Jesus. Okay. I know it's kind of hard to believe when you hear it like that, but many, many thousands of people went to her home in San Diego. Many of the movie stars had sat at her table. She had a table that used to rise up from the floor. And many people that sat around that table didn't even know, but they were cured when they left. I went when I had some negative news about possibly having lung cancer. That was in the early 80s. And I'd passed out so many of these books. And my sister called the woman, Adele, and said, listen, my sister has to go to sit around that table too. And there were hundreds of people in this auditorium, and many of them coming from all parts of the country. And she said, bring your sister. The moment we walked in, she called us both up to the table. And it was a table that would rise off the ground, and she would say, now try to push it down. Nobody, with all the strength, she would invite people from the audience to push it down. But she said that that day that I went there, when I went back to the doctor, I had no signs of what they sent me for 3 different tests for. So after just falling in love with this book, and you'll get an idea of what kind of brought me to it, I called her and I asked her, I said, are there any master teachers on earth? Because I had just come into a book entitled Baba by Arnold Schulman. And that was sort of a turning point in my life. And she said, no, not that I know of. And I said to her, have you ever heard of Sathya Sai Baba? And there was a pause, and she said, when are you going? Just like that. When are you going? And I want you to know it was one of the lowest periods financially in our lives. We were really going to crawl back home with no money after 7 years making good money, and our business went boom, flat. When I did return to New York, we had nowhere to stay, you know. And relatives say, oh, come stay with me because, you know, we have space. And then, of course, you're like fish after 3 days, no good. And so without money, for some reason, all of a sudden, $80 American Express card, and my sister is in India. Where? For Shanti Nilayam. And we've been coming ever since. That was 31 years ago. So because we were kind of notified late about this, we were not prepared to do a lot, but I did want you to hear a few of the lessons that we got from this book. And that's why I knew Baba was the one we were looking for.
Sairam, I want to preface some of the reading with also a little bit of my own story, because I grew up, Audrey is, even though she doesn't look it, she's my older sister. And I grew up really following in her footsteps in many ways. One of the things that really kind of is the parameters around which I began to go see Baba was based in something that characterizes human history from its beginning. 2 words. These 2 words start with the same letter, but they've permeated our relationships from the beginning of time. That's fear and faith. Now, I know people have spoken about it. The gentleman who spoke earlier, when he talked about the importance of unity, I mean, it was really these 2 things that are the main things that are there. Fear is a lack of faith. And fear has led us as human beings to disunity, to fighting, to racism, to all manner of things, all manner of evils that have been done. I grew up as the last of the baby boomers, and I was born back in ancient times, 1948, and that was only 3 years after the end of World War II. But I grew up in an atmosphere of love at home, but fear that would come through the news media, that would come through what we were taught in school, fear that one day the whole world could come to an end because of the fact that we had developed nuclear weapons that could kill everyone, destroy the entire planet. And as a matter of fact, we lived in a time when the word was MAD, mutual assured destruction. We can destroy each other. So this is MAD is a perfect acronym for that because it's madness. And what we need is something, a bridge to bring unity, and that bridge is love. And but I had also lost a lot of faith because I grew up seeing outrageous acts of vicious hatred that permeated a lot of the things that took place both in our country and outside of it. Much of it based on superficial things like skin color, like language, like where a person is from, all of those things. I remember in 1955 seeing a a picture in Jet magazine of a young black American named Emmett Till who had been murdered in the South and whose body had been so brutally attacked that the picture in the magazine really was shocking. And his mother said, "I want an open casket." But then again, there were those lights of enlightenment that came through. And one of them was Dr. King, who in August 28th, 1963, also the anniversary of that date, August 28th, was the same day that Emmett Till had been killed, only about 8 years previously. And he articulated a belief based in love of change, a way out of the madness. Now, I'm going to quote someone before I do the reading, and then I'm going to do the reading. And this is a quote from a person who was a very powerful leader. And it came at the end of a year when the world came closest to nuclear conflagration. That was 1962. And his speech, he ends with saying, "Our most common link is that we all inhabit this planet. We all breathe the same air. We all cherish our children's future. And we are all mortal." That's John Fitzgerald Kennedy, President of the United States. Those words are more important today than I feel almost ever before in my lifetime, because at this point in my life, I have seen the world begin to turn back from some of the advances that I'd seen take place. I went to India in 1988, a person who had been devoid of belief anymore because I had seen so much of the hatred in the world. And my sisters, I went over to accompany them there because of the fact that I didn't want them to go by themselves. I had no intention of going there for any religious belief, or because I was devoid of that. I had seen all of the architects of beauty and love and light in this world being brutally killed and destroyed. And as I sat in the sand amidst thousands of others, Sai Baba, walking through, stopped, and I was thinking so much anger. And he stopped and he looked, and I was about as far from him, and you've been there, you know how far it is, as the back row, and there are people sitting everywhere, and he stopped and he said, "You come." And I looked around, and he said, "Come." And I came up to him, and he said, "You know, you have many evil thoughts." And magically, those thoughts began to melt away. So one of the things that I was impressed with there, I'm not going to go into my interview, but I was impressed with writings that I saw. I was impressed with a change that I saw taking place. And that change was not manifest in the bricks and the mortar. It was manifest in the eyes, in the hearts, in the minds of the people that were there. And that's the message. The light has to be within. You have to light the light within. And with that, I want to begin reading from Adele Tenning's God's Way of Life. I'm going to start a little bit before than Audrey wanted me to, but it said, "The perfect you is within you from the very beginning. It is only your awareness that brings it out. Sometimes it may take many more incarnations to bring this perfection to its full bloom, just like a beautiful hybrid flower. Only after many recedings does it come into its full bloom of beauty. Remember this when meeting people you do not take too readily. Remember, the perfect person is deep inside. See beyond the sight of your eyes. Feel deeper into the other person's feelings. Remember, he may be just perfecting one phase of his real self, like patience or tolerance. He may not be as advanced in understanding and love as you are, so you must show patience with him. All are or will be perfect souls in God's eyes. He sees only perfection. We see the imperfections of each other. Fear is one of man-made emotions. You only have fear when you lack faith. Remember, fear comes from the lack of faith. Trust the dear Lord and thereby turn fear into faith, worry into a wonderful experience. All learn from everything that they do. The greater the experience, the greater the learning. Be not selfish with your learning. Share it with others. Then others share their experience with you. Thereby all learn or advance in their knowledge. Love gives understanding. Now, those things, those words from this book are the same meaning that I got when I went to India in 1988. And it reignited inside of me a belief that there could be a better way, a better day, a better understanding. I want to read another passage from here, and it says, how many of us, when we hear of a man robbing a bank, look into his heart to see what caused him to do this, or have given his family the food and necessities of life that his family needed to survive? No. We throw this man in jail and forget about him and his family. Did you ever stop to think that if each one of us would just help one other person to have a better life, not only in material ways, but also by letting him know we are concerned about him and want to help him in any way possible? Then there would be no need for policemen patrolling our streets. The millions saved could provide happy, healthy recreation spots, free for all. You each need only to help one other person in need of love and understanding. Forget competition. Think cooperation. Everyone's life would be happier. Those words are synergistically united with the words that I saw at Prashanti Nilayam. Start each day with love. Fill and live each day with love. End each day with love, for this is the way to God. God is in each of us, and we have to recognize the God in each of us. Always. We have to be united in thought, word, and deed. Om Sai Ram.
I'd like to thank the Bailey family, Audrey and Warren, for coming all the way from Pennsylvania. So please give them a big hand for all their wonderful experiences that they narrated today. Thank you very much. So next we have the SSC children. Let me just bring this up again. So this is Sai Veda and Sai Janvi from the Sathya Sai Baba Center of East Brunswick, and they will be singing verses from the chanting verses from the Bhagavad Gita.
Sai Ram, my name is Sai Veda Girish.
Sai Ram, my name is Sai Janvi Girish.
And today we're going to be chanting the Bhagavad Gita.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Atashthadashodhyayah Moksha Sannyasa Yogaha Arjuna Uvacha Sannyasasya Mahabaho Tattvamichhami Veditum Tyagasya cha Hrishikesha Prithakkeshi Nishudana Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kamyanam Karmanam Yasam Sannyasam Kavayo Viduhu Sarva Karma Phalatyagam प्राहुस्त्यागं विचक्षणाः त्याज्यं दोषवदित्येके कर्म प्राहुर्मनीषिणः यज्ञदानतपः कर्म न त्याज्यमिति चापरे निश्चयं शृणु मे तत्र त्यागे भरतसत्तमा त्यागो हि पुरुषव्याघ्र त्रिविधः सम्प्रकीर्तितः यज्ञदानतपः कर्म न त्याज्यं कार्यमेव ततु यज्ञो दानं तपश्चैव पावनानि मनीषिणाम् एतान्यपि तु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कर्तव्यानीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मतमुत्तमं नियतस्यति सन्न्यासः कर्मणो नोपपद्यते मोहातस्य परित्यागः तामसः परिकीर्तितः दुःखमित्येव यत्कर्म कायक्लेशभयात् त्यजेत् सकृत्वा राजसं त्यागं नैव त्यागफलं लभेत् कार्यमित्येव यत्कर्म नियतं क्रियते अर्जुन सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलं चैव सत्यागः सात्विको मतः न द्वेष्य कुशलं कर्म कुशलेनानुसज्जते त्यागी सत्त्वसमाविष्टः मेधावी छिन्न संशयः न हि देहभृता शक्यं त्यक्तुं कर्माण्यशेषतः यस्तु कर्मफलत्यागी सत्यागीत्यभिधीयते अनिष्टमिष्टं मिश्रं च त्रिविधा कर्मणः फलं भवत्यत्यागिनां प्रीत्य न तु सन्न्यासिनां क्वचित् पञ्चैतानि महाबाहो कारणानि निबोध मे साङ्ख्ये कृतान्ते प्रोक्तानि सिद्धये सर्वकर्मणाम् अधिष्ठानं तथा कर्थ करणं च पृथग्विधं विविधाश्च पृथक् चेष्टाः दैवं चैवात्र पञ्चमं शरीरवाङ्मनोभिर्यत् प्रारभते नरः न्यायं वा विपरीतं वा पञ्चेते तस्य हेतवः तत्रैवं सति कर्तारम् आत्मानं केवलं तु यः पश्यत्य कृतबुद्धित्वात् न स पश्यति दुर्मति यस्य नाहङ्कृतो भावः बुद्धिर्यस्य न लिप्यते हत्वापि सैमान् लोकान् न हन्ति न निबध्यते ज्ञानं ध्येयं परिज्ञाता त्रिविधा कर्म चोदना करणं कर्म कर्तेति त्रिविधा कर्म संग्रहः ज्ञानं कर्म च कर्ता च त्रिदैव गुणभेदतः प्रोक्ष्यते गुणसंख्याने यथा वच्छृणुतान्यपि सर्वभूतेषु येनैकं भावमव्ययमीक्ष्यते अविभक्तं विभक्तेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि राजसं पृथक्त्वेन तु यज्ञानं नानाभावान् पृथग्विधान् वेति सर्वेषु भूतेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि राजसम् ॐ श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु.
We all must be wondering on why we chant the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita has come from Lord Krishna's mouth to Arjuna. The divine words without your knowledge, the divine words will give you grace, calmness, and other influential forms. And all the verses that have come from Lord Krishna does the job of making you full of a pure heart. And a pure heart is needed to stay happy. And that happiness is internal happiness.
What are benefits by chanting Gita? They increase confidence, concentration, memory, clarity and in decision making, health, and removes the negative qualities.
The power of chanting Gita in daily life. As you can see in this plot, it says happiness versus time. As you can see in material happiness, it starts out very high, but then it ends low in long time services. On spiritual happiness, it starts very high, and it stays high.
The Bhagavad Gita means the divine song of God. What does Bhagavad Gita teach us? Let's go through in brief.
Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, "Why do you worry without cause? Whom do you fear without reason? Who can kill you? The soul is neither born nor does it die. Whatever happened, happens for good. Whatever is happening for the good. Whatever will happen will also happen for the good only." Basically, Sri Krishna is trying to say that whatever you do is good, and it will happen.
Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, "You need not have any regrets for the past. You need not worry for the future. The present is happening. What did you lose that you cry about? What did you bring with you, which you think you have lost?
Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, what did you produce, which you think got destroyed? You did not bring anything. Whatever you have, you received here. Whatever you have given only here. Whatever you took from God. Whatever you gave to him. You will come empty-handed and you will leave empty-handed.
Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, what is yours today belonged to someone else yesterday and will belong to someone else the day after tomorrow. You're mistakenly enjoying the thought that this is yours. It is this false happiness that it is the cause of your sorrows.
Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, change is the law of the universe. What you think of as death is indeed life. In one instance, you can be a millionaire. In another instance, you can be steeped in poverty. Sri Krishna basically is saying that change is inevitable.
Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, yours and mine, big and small, erase these ideas from your mind. And everything is yours and you belong to everyone. This body is not yours. Neither are you of the body. The body is made of fire, water, air, earth, and ether, and will disappear into the elements. But the soul is permanented. So who are you?
Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, dedicate your being to God. He is the one that's ultimately relied upon. Those who know of his support are forever free from fear, worry, and sorrow. Whatever you do it to dedication to God. This will bring you to the tremendous experience of joy, life, freedom, and forever. So basically, whatever you do has to be dedicated to God.
Let's see what our Swami says about Bhagavad Gita.
Swami says, Gita is the universal mother.
Swami says, Gita is the messenger of God.
Swami says, Gita is a lifeboat to cross the ocean of life.
Swami says, Gita is the staff and support for spiritual seekers.
Swami says, Gita is a casket of sacred mantras.
Swami says, Gita is a beautiful garden of flowers.
Swami says, Gita is a road to liberation. Conclusion. Let's all chant Bhagavad Gita every day so that Sri Krishna will always be with us, guide us, and lead us to the right path in our lives. Jai Sai Ram.
Let's give a big hand of applause. Sai Veda and Sai Janvi did an excellent job. Very nice pronunciation, very clear and articulate. So thank you, both of you, for such a nice chanting of the sacred Bhagavad Gita. So next we have one more SSC student. His name is Manav Maini. He's next. Come on up. What grade are you in? 7th grade. And he's in the SSC Center of East Brunswick Sai Center.
Om Shri Sai Ram. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our divine Bhagawan. Good evening, everyone. My name is Manav, and I will be talking about the unity of faith and religion. Bhagwan Baba says, nations are many, but earth is one. Beings are many, but breath is one. Stars are many, but sky is one. Oceans are many, but water is one. Jewels are many, but gold is one. Appearances are many, but reality is one. All religions are simply different pathways towards God. All religions are one, said poet William Blake. Houston Smith, the well-known philosopher of religions, said, "It is possible to climb life's mountain from any side, but when the top is reached, the trails converge." In the Sarva Dharma symbol, for example, Swami represents the 5 major religions of the world: Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, and Zoroastrianism, all tied together by the pillar of unity. The Hindu Om reminds us of the resounding of Om in our heart as well as the heart of the universe. The Buddhist wheel is a symbol of cause and consequence, of deed and destiny. It is the ever-rotating reminder of our Dharma. The Islamic crescent, moon, and star remind us to become stars that never waver from their moon and are constantly studying their faith. And finally, the Christian cross reminds us to cut out ego of I across. As young children in Bhagavad, we are educated about all religions, from the glorious stories in the Ramayana about Sri Ram and Lakshman to the beautiful renditions of Jesus Christ. We learn about them all. I have loved participating in plays with stories from different religions. For example, a recent play I did for Bhagavad, there was this scene where Prophet Muhammad was simply God's messenger and he was trying to spread the religion of Islam. As he was doing this, he came across the Meccans who did not approve of his mission, so they began to hunt him. Fortunately, with God's help, Prophet Muhammad found a cave and was able to hide in there. And as the Meccans came back to look and search the cave, God had told the spider to spin a web right at the entrance, so when the Meccans came, they would think that no one has been in the cave for years, and they would leave. And that's what happened. That's how God saved Prophet that day, and he was able to continue his mission and spread the religion of Islam. I learned through these plays how God loves and protects all living things. It is through these teachings I have come to understand how truly similar that all the religions are the same. Take the Hindu festival of lights, Diwali, one of my favorite holidays, surrounded by friends, family, and of course firecrackers. It is a day where we welcome light into our lives and dispose of evil. It is the victory over light and the knowledge over ignorance. We bring knowledge and conscience into our lives that day. Similarly, the Jewish festival of Hanukkah is the festival of lights. This parallel between two seemingly distinct religions serves to show us the unity and basic teachings of religion. Hanukkah, too, is known as the Festival of Lights, as it celebrates the purification of the Jewish temple and how the menorah, with 1 day's worth of oil, miraculously burns for 8 whole nights. With many foundational similarities in all the religions, I am fortunate to be in Swami's fold, through which I can learn about them. Through our teachings in Bhagavad, we hope to one day bridge the divides that exist between religions and all cultures of the world and practice the religion of love. Swami once said, "There's only one caste, the caste of humanity. There's only one religion, the religion of love. There's only one language, the language of the heart. There's only one God, He is omnipresent. There's only one law, the law of Dharma." To end off, I would like to sing a bhajan. Rama Hare Sai Krishna Hare Sarva Dharma Priya Sai Hare. Rama Hare Sai Krishna Hare Sarva Dharma Priya Sai Hare. Allah Ishwar Sai Hare. Allah Ishwar Sai Hare. Guru Nanak Yeshu Buddha Hare. Nanak Yeshu Buddha Hare. Zorashtra Mahavir Sai Hare. Sarva Dharma Priya Sai Hare. Baba Sarva Dharma Priya Sai Hare. Rama Hare Sai Krishna Hare. Sarva Dharma Priya Sai Hare. Allah Ishwar Sai Hare. Guru Nanak Yeshu Buddha Hare. Zorashtra Mahavir Sai Hare. Sarva Dharma Priya Sai Hare. Baba Sarva Dharma Priya Sai Hare. Rama Hare Sai Krishna Hare. Sarva Dharma Priya Sai Hare. Saram.
Thank you, Manu. So another big hand of applause for Manav. He did an excellent job on the presentation and the bhajan too. So with that, we conclude our presentations and music. And so next is we'll have a few gifts for all the presenters. And we'll ask Guruji to come give them away. So can we have some help bringing those bags here? Okay. Okay. There's, the bags are in the back there. Please bring them up here. There are some number of bags. We need them all.
Take some to the other side, women's side.
Yes. We also need some volunteers to help us opening up these shawls. Thank you. Yes, please. Yes,
Yeah.
please.
There are some on the ladies' side. Hi, how are you? There are some.
So, anyone here taking pictures?
There's some.
Ravi?
We have some on ladies' side.
So this is a small gift. Thank you. Now you give it away to the others. And a rose. We'll keep yours separate over
Put
here.
this one.
Put one there too. So you give this to the next person. Thank you. So let's see. Let's have a run down the list. Let's start with Manurmukhi. Manurmukhi. Certificate is here. Manurmukhi, come on up. Thank you. Next is, yes, she has a certificate too. So thank you for that. Then we have the Jain group. Please all come up.
They are all visiting from India. They are all visiting from India. For a wedding, they came for a family wedding, and I said, let's go.
Thank you very much for your presence. Thank you. And then, thank you. And one picture.
Okay.
Thank you. I guess Ravi's taking it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
Here you go.
So next is Akshay Gandikota. He's not here, he had to leave. So we'll put one certificate.
His uncle can come and pick it up.
Hey, Sai, you come over. Yes. Sai is his brother. Okay. So let's give him a shawl. Here's a shawl for him. Okay, I'll give it. Hold on. I'll put a shawl for him. Akshay, come this side.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, yeah. So they'll take pictures from there, and then. Okay, and you may. Okay.
Right.
No, that's for Akshay.
Yeah.
Akshay.
Or you can give it to him.
You'll give it to him. And here's the certificate for Akshay, and the bag. Thank you. We will take one picture. Okay. Hold on to this. One picture. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Next. Oh yes. Sundar IRG. Shawl and Mandy? Yes, that was very nice talk. Nice red, bright one. Matches you.
Blue black, right? Right.
Thank you, Jim. Picture.
These are my brother, you know.
Yes, we're all brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is the Baha'i Group. Please come up. And the shawl for one of the ladies.
You put both of them together.
Well, both of them together. Stand together and face that way for the camera.
Right? That's the best way.
Yes.
See?
Bestest friend.
Thank you.
You're the best.
For the
Thank
wonderful
you. Oh my
presentation.
God, that's lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So you just want a picture again with you?
Yeah, one.
Me too.
How about with you?
Yeah, I'm
man.
standing.
Okay.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah,
right in the
yeah.
middle. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes, 3 of us, 4 of us. Thank you.
Thank you. That's
Thank you.
lovely.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you.
And next is Bailey family, Audrey and Warren. We've known for a long time. And I'm very happy that short notice you were able to come here all the way from Pennsylvania in the cold. Fortunately, no snow.
Thank you. Thank goodness.
I'm praying
Yes.
we beat it home anyway.
Yes.
This one for the lady.
For my sister. That's my other sister.
Yes.
Say hi to her.
And this one's for Warren, our brother.
Right.
I'll be trading with him as soon as we get.
Whatever.
And then a rose. A rose. And then face the camera, please.
Yeah.
So come in the middle.
Yes.
Oh, yes, we're supposed to get this. Okay, one more. I missed that.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're all done, I think.
We're all
Thank
done.
you.
Thank you.
Sarah.
Now is
Hi.
it's Sai Veda and Sai Janvi, the ones who chanted. They get certificates each. One for Janvi
Janvi, face to that side.
and Sai Veda. And Sai Veda, two Sai Veda. And then Rose each. And Gazi. Let's get this one and that one. Stuck together.
Maybe for the sister's sake.
Yes, that's right. Okay, one for you and one for you. And stand together, we'll take a picture. Come in the middle. Come in the middle, yeah.
Good girls.
Good girls. Sai Ram, thank you. Next is Manav. Manav, come on up. A certificate?
The global runners.
Okay, I think that completes the function. So it's 6 o'clock on the dot. Okay. So thank you all for all your participation. We're very happy that we were able to hold this at short notice. It's my mistake, actually. Oh yes, and then we can have a group picture, then we can go down and get some snacks, something to drink, some chai. Please come up. Everybody can come up and take a picture. No arti. No arti. Just namaskar to everyone. And the final saying that Swami says, the essence of all the Vedas and all the Shastras and all the religious texts is love all, serve all, help ever, hurt never. So with that we conclude. So let's have our last photo. With everybody. Everybody can come up and stand here.